Yeah, well, fantastic day. You've seen it. It speaks for itself. Any questions?
Do you want to just tell us about the significance of what's happened here today to start with?
Well, enormous, because I've been aware of St Stephen's or TIPENE all my life. It had to close tragically, but today the charter school policy is giving it a chance to breathe new life, and you can see the passion for a school. I think we miss that in too many parts of New Zealand. School has become something a lot of people aren't going to, but here you've got a group of people passionate about their school, and that is what charter schools allow.
Great. Minister, on a personal note, I see that your new fiancée is here. Congratulations. What can you tell us? What are you comfortable to tell us about that?
Look, I'm trying not to politicise my relationships, but obviously I'm very, very lucky to be in love with a smart businesswoman with a big heart. That's Alex, and we're very lucky in that sense.
You have mentioned before that you would give up politics if you found the right love. Is that something you'd still consider?
Well, the thing is, when I said that ACT had one MP, my job got a bit bigger, although she does occasionally bring that up with me. I'm sorry to my political opponents, I'm sticking around.
Yesterday, during your speech, your mic was taken away twice. What do you think that says about your political opponents and their belief and understanding of freedom of speech?
Look, I'm always very careful not to blame a group of people for the actions of one. The person that did that is responsible for their actions. Everybody else, there are many other people actually trying to listen, and ultimately the speech went up on YouTube anyway, and it's being seen by far more people than just that guy. All right.
What have you made of the reaction to what happened there? I know that there's been a lot of talk about how politicised it was this year. What do you think about it?
Look, ultimately, better ideas win in an environment of free speech. If you want to take away people's free speech, maybe it's because you don't have better ideas. I'm confident that the long-term arc of New Zealand history is a free society that values each and every person, no matter their background.
And just out of curiosity, since it is Waitangi Day, is there a reason why you brought your partner along today? Is there something that she was interested or something you'd like to share with her?
Oh, look, it's obviously a day off for most people. She's had a good week so far, but I'm just really grateful that she could come and see a little bit of what I do. And of course, she's obviously really interested in education, and I think she was really impressed by the energy of people here.
And Minister, as the Minister for Children, what is the significance of this school's opening for you?
Education is the pathway towards a successful life. But also I have a personal connection to this school. My great-great-great-grandfather was the headmaster when it opened on this site in 1947. So I'm really proud to be standing here and setting the example that he set back in the day, that education is just so important.
Thank you so much.
All right.
The Law Commission's recently launched consultation into strengthening so-called hate crime laws. Is that something you support or have any?
Well, I support asking the question and getting better advice. In my view, the regime of hate crime laws we currently have is perfectly adequate. On the other hand, I'd be looking pretty carefully at any idea that introduces subjective laws. I mean, the problem with hate speech, it's very hard to define hate, and the people charged with defining hate can end up being bigger bullies than the people they're supposed to be stopping. Potentially you have the same problem with hate crimes. And I'd also note that the Crimes Act, Section 9, I think it is, already allows for crimes that are motivated by a prejudice against something a person can't change about themselves, whether it's their race or their gender or their sexuality. That's already an aggravating factor in sentencing under the Sentencing Act. So let's see what the Law Commission comes up with. I don't often agree with the Law Commission anyway, but there's nothing wrong with asking them to do some homework.
US President Trump and Argentinian President Javier Milei have recently both announced they're looking to exit the WHO. Is that something you think New Zealand should be open to considering?
Well, we've got to ask, what are we getting and what are the dangers to us? There are people who are concerned that somehow the WHO is going to take on powers that take away our sovereignty or our ability of our parliament to make laws and decisions. I understand where people are getting that information from. I don't think that's true, and I would never cede our Parliament's ability to make laws to anyone, as we've seen in the last 24 hours. On the other hand, pandemics tend to be global. They can be dangerous. There will be another one, I believe, in my lifetime, and it could be one that is much more deadly than the one we had a few years ago. So, you want to really ask the question, do you want to abandon international cooperation? And if you don't, how are you going to cooperate? And if you want to cooperate without the World Health Organization, what does that look like? I think there's quite a few questions people need to ask themselves before they go down that particular track.
And lastly, could you give us an update on the Treaty Principles Bill and where to from here over the coming months?
So it's having hearings right now. There's 80 hours of in-person hearings scheduled. Obviously the huge number of submissions has taken a long time even just to process through Parliament and the Justice Department's computer systems. However, that analysis is happening, and I think what's really important is that by looking to Parliament to talk about the treaty, they're actually buying into the idea, whether they're for or against the bill, that Parliament is the right place to have these debates. We're not a partnership between two backgrounds. We are all Kiwis equal, or ake, as I like to say. And that process, I think, is very positive. The Select Committee will report back. Maybe the bill will go forward, maybe it won't. This time, I believe in the long term we will have a law, something like that, because a country based on a treaty that divides people really needs a treaty that brings them together.